Good afternoon. In Finland, it's already good afternoon after midday. My name is Maarit Tihinen, and I'm working as a principal lecturer here at Lapland University of Applied Sciences, Finland. And today I will moderate and host this webinar together my Tourbit project partner Leonie Hen from Barcelona, Spain. I think, Leonie, you can change the slide. We can see here our agenda today, so it's quite tight. And first is short introduction about our Tourbit project. And please, Leonie, now you can introduce yourself and give a short introduction about our project.
Good morning, everyone. Also from my side, as Maarit already introduced me, my name is Leonie Hen. I work at the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, and I have the honor today to present you Tourbit project. This is the project that, let's say, is the reason why we are doing this webinar today, actually part of a series of webinars that we are hosting under this project. And I just wanted to give you a very short introduction of what this project is about, and especially how you as tourism businesses can participate in this project. So first of all, as I said already, this project is called Tourbit with a subtitle Fostering Digitalization of European Tourism SMEs. We started the project in January this year, and it will last for a total of 30 months. It is funded under a program of the European Commission that's called Smes. That's the program for the competitiveness of small and medium-sized enterprises. And we have received funding under a specific call for innovation uptake and digitalization in the tourism sector. The project is coordinated by the Catalan Tourist Board, and it's implemented alongside 7 additional partners from all across Europe, partners very much committed in supporting tourism businesses in their digitalization journey, let's say. We at the Barcelona Chamber of Commerce are one partner of the project. There is also the Welcome City Lab from Paris in France, ArcTour from Slovenia, the Cluster Hospitality Brussels that is hosted by the Hub Brussels in Belgium, the Iceland Tourism Cluster, the Lapland University of Applied Sciences, where Maarit is working, and a Nest Tourism Innovation Center from Portugal. So the general objective of this project is, as I said before already, to support tourism SMEs in the uptake of digitalization and innovation by fostering their skills, their knowledge, and their network. And we're doing that specifically by rolling out a support scheme that is based on 3 pillars. And I'll tell you a bit more about those pillars right in the next slide. The first pillar is the pillar learning or learn, and under this pillar we are hosting, among other activities, this series of 7 webinars. This is the first one of the 7. We also have developed a tool that is called the Digital Readiness Index. That is an online tool where tourism businesses can evaluate, can assess their level of digitalization and receive a report from their assessment, also with recommendations on which specific issues on digitalization they have to work on. Then the second pillar is the pillar build. Under this pillar, we try to encourage SMEs to collaborate, to work together. We will implement a series of workshops for co-creation and a hackathon, a Europe-wide hackathon, where we will encourage tourism businesses to prototype new ideas and new solutions. And we have also created an online community or rather we have incorporated Tourbit into an existing online community that's called the Tourbit community that we very much encourage you also to form part of. Some of you maybe are already there. This community serves to give you the ability to connect to your peers, to providers, to get updates, the latest information on the industry, etc. And the third pillar is the pillar test and implement. And let's say this 3-pillar structure kind of culminates in this third pillar, where we will implement an acceleration program, a program under which you as tourism business can put forward a proposal for a digitalization project that you would like to implement in your company, and you will receive a funding worth in between 8,000 and 9,000 euros, with which you can implement your project, and we will give you a mentor, the right providers, etc. At hand, so that you can advance in your digitalization process. So I think that is it from my side, and I'll give the word right back to Marit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leonie. And in this webinar, we are focusing on data analytics, and as we well know that data analytics is very important role in industry nowadays. It's also that in tourism SMEs. And we have today here Pedro Machado from NOS, Portugal, introducing us what is the data analytics is exactly, and what kind of benefit the SMEs can get from data analytics in their operations. Please, Pedro, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the invitation. Actually, it's a pleasure to be here today speaking with you guys about such an interesting topic and such an interesting sector also that is in continuous transformation. Actually, if we look back, it's easy to understand that from the first roads constructed in Iraq until today, with the first space travels, touristic space travels, it's easy to notice that tourism suffered huge transformations along the time, and each step made it, I would say, more dynamic, more democratic, and much more focused not on traveling, but focused on experience. The fact is that nowadays it's completely clear that tourism has an important role on our lives, for sure with some limitations and less positive side effects, but overall it has a huge positive impact on societies. And nevertheless, it is a sector deeply exposed to different contexts, trends, economic environments, global and local competition, with an enormous uncertainty, very well, I'm sure, revealed over the past years, with the pandemic radically impacting this sector. In our opinion, we believe that these current challenges represents a huge opportunity to rethink the experience and empower this sector using technology, from the big companies to the smaller ones, addressing a set of factors that were already here before the pandemic, but that are now much more reinforced. We are talking, for instance, about new markets and trends with local tourism gaining relevance. We are talking about a profound change on mobility patterns and preference. And we are talking, for instance, about a growing demand on consumer expectations that are increasingly more connected. Moving to analytics, it's obvious for us that to address all these challenges, data analytics is nowadays completely indispensable resource. However, if it's true that everything starts with data, it's even more clear that data by itself is completely useful. And let's pick a small example and think about these small hotels whose, for instance, occupancy rate has been falling over the recent months. First, to extract value from the data, it's essential to have the ability to understand what is happening. Is the rate decreasing every day, or just during the weekdays, or just during the weekends? Is the average number of nights the same, or is it also changing? If so, when? Are the results the same regardless the nationality, or are some segments of the market with different kind of evolutions, and so on and so forth. Secondly, it's very important to understand the causes, both internal and external. For instance, has the demand for tourism changed over the recent months? What are the factors that impacted these demands? Through which channels are we seeing more demands, or are we seeing some decrease in this demand? Talking about internal causes, has the feedback from my customers been positive? If so, from which type of customers, and how is the feedback also from my employees? So this is only some examples that can help us to understand what is causing the problems, or what is causing the evolution and the numbers of our business. Only that way we will be able to understand what is impacting my results, as I was saying, and by realizing how these factors are expected to evolve in the future, we will be able to define what actually I need to change in my strategy, in my business, and that should result in very, very, very concrete actions with the ability to be adjusted, of course, if the foreseen scenario does not occur. Things like which digital platforms should I invest in advertisement? To which markets should I communicate? How should I adjust my offer and my pricing? Which kind of segments should I build, and how can I communicate this kind of products to different kind of needs and to different kind of customers? And if you think, well, these are questions that we made all of the days, and that impacts our business and how we sell our touristic products to our customers. At the end of the day, our ability to make this journey with increasing agility, but also very important efficiency, is what will allow us at the end of the day to maximize results, supporting our daily decisions with data, and as much as possible reacting in real time to the threats and to the opportunities. Well, to accelerate this journey, I believe it's quite important to take advantage of the existing tools and solutions. Nod is one of the players that have been helping their customers to improve the decisions based on data, especially using its mobility data gathered from multiple sources to provide what we believe that are powerful insights for this sector. Over the last years, we've been supporting the tourism sector here in Portugal, but also in other countries, with a set of essential indicators to understand the evolution of the tourism needs, providing detailed analysis on the profile of both domestic but also foreign tourism in order to understand what is happening with these trends, and giving very detailed information about, for instance, which are the top nationalities that visit each region, how many days these tourists are staying in our country and in each of these regions, where do they sleep, what do they visit, what is their digital profile, how a certain event, musical festival or other kind of event is impacting the local tourism, and do these tourists arrive to our country by car, by boat, by train, or by plane, which border are they crossing, what airport do they fly to, and so on and so forth. On top of these insights, we have also been working on project-based scenarios with a lot of academia and so on, and with a set of institutions and but also customers to add each day more intelligence on top of this data, as well as providing different kinds of platforms to help our customers to accelerate this journey in the simple, flexible, and efficient way, crossing with NOS data with their internal data and performing the analysis by their own. Well, I'll leave you with one of these examples. Thank you very much. Let's see if this works.
Everything that matters for your business happens somewhere. Customers, competitors, sales, opportunities, it's all data. Your business needs to grasp the potential of all this data to your advantage and be able to transform data into insights, taking advantage of location analytics to support better decisions. NOS Analytics Pro is a unique and innovative platform that is changing how businesses use data. A decision-making, user-friendly, professional tool that leverages the power of real-time mobility monitoring. With NOS Analytics Pro, businesses are now capable to autonomously take advantage of location analytics and NOS-enriched telecommunications data to find mobility patterns and profiles. Business data can be uploaded, like customers, sales, and cross it with other datasets. Easily drag and drop layers onto the map to visualize patterns and make decisions. Expansion planning, sales performance, competition analysis, location-based marketing, or even tailor public and private responses to new normal. NOS Analytics Pro.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pedro. There were very, very great visualization examples in your presentation, and I think that the visualization is one very important issue to handle when trying to introduce what are the benefits, because you can easily to see that how is moving or that's way. Great. Thank you. Do you have our audience? Do you have any question at the moment? We have time. Few questions also at the end of the this webinar, but if there is rising question, you can ask now. Okay, I think that we continue and we will discuss in the end of this webinar about more of these very interesting presentation. And the next we have two use cases, two examples, descriptions of how to utilize data analytics. And first, Alex Trias, director at La Palena Alegre camping from Spain. Please, floor is yours.
Hello, good morning to all, or good afternoon once outside. First of all, thank you for inviting us to share our experiences over here in these presentations. I think it's very useful that we can use all the knowledge from the different people and different options and businesses, so we can have a view of how things are done. I haven't prepared a presentation for this because it's more about digitalization and numbers, so I didn't think on a way to try and show it. So I try to make it the least dull as possible and try to explain you more or less how we use the data, or how we try to digitalize all the information to be able to use it and optimize and be more efficient with the use of energy. In the camping site, well, I don't know if you know La Ballena Alegre, we are a camping site that we have 1.8 kilometers in the front of the beach. We have around 1,100 accommodations between pitches and bungalows. And so, as you can imagine, we have all type of energy consumption from, we generate photovoltaic, geothermal, aerothermal, we use natural gas, and of course, electricity and water. We've been with Smes since 2003, more or less. So we keep working on the optimization and efficiency system in all consumption and all medioambiental impacts we can have. Lately, we've been working on lots of different systems to try to reduce our impact in the ambience, or in the our CO2 impact or our emissions. And lately, what we've been able to impose is a system where we are digitalizing all the meters we have in the camping site, where we keep all the information from one site in servers, and we have a special tool that we're using that's called Takis. That's our maintenance tool, where we keep all the main information from all the systems, from all the consumption in electricity, water, pumps, and all the systems we have in the camping site. And from another side, in all our part for photovoltaic and geothermal generation, we have our domotic servers where we keep all that information as well, how much we generate and how much we stop using, I would say, of all the raw materials. And finally, with our PMS system, we have a business analytics system where we can get ratios to be able to compare the efficiency per client, per stay, per day, and depending on what we are doing. With all this data, that's quite a lot, I would say, and the decision we've taken lately is that it's a problem. It's a problem when you don't have information. Therefore, what we're working on is to be able to keep all that information first. And what we are working for the last 2 years is now in how to analyze this information. We have a lot of data so far that we are keeping and that we are not really using, I would say. But from the other part, we're starting to create all the data analysis and with all the big data we have now to try and find the ways to be more efficient and create better systems and optimize our systems. With the one thing we've been able to see in the last years was the trend that we were doing lots of things to try and generate photovoltaic energy, try to generate geothermal, try to help that our bungalows we built 3 years ago, bungalows that are almost 100% efficient, that they could be taken out of we've set up batteries and 22 photovoltaic panels on top of them. We created a deposit for aerothermal to create the hot water for the bungalow. But what we realized is that all our effort wasn't being properly used because the clients that were using the bungalow weren't really using it. As you have to change the way of using things or of doing things to be able to optimize the energy that you can generate with the sun or with the wind or with the ground energy. Therefore, what we've created now is a contest between our clients where we give a prize to the most efficient clients during the summer. So what we do is in the high season, all the weeks in high season, we make a contest where the 10 most efficient clients of each week get into a draw where we give them a free vacation for the following season. In this way, we get people involved and trying to work on it. And that's the type of thing we're working on now, to be able to analyze our data and think ways to potentiate not only for clients, but also for our employees and for our providers, to be able to get them involved in the system and trying to make things better or help us make us more efficient with the use of energy. And that, in a nutshell, is more or less what I wanted to share or explain you a little bit of how we're trying to do things on our side.
Great example and interesting example of how to boost also sustainable issues in camping. Great. Do anyone have any questions for Alex at the moment? If not, we can continue, and we have also another example. Ilkka Lariola from Natura Viva will introduce also about SMI tourism and how to utilize data analytics there in a strategic manner. Please, Ilkka, take a.
All right, thank you. Nice to be here. It was really nice to hear Pedro and Alex tell about their way to think about this matter. I have a small slide to show here, and it's good that Alex left some more time for me because I speak a lot. So I'll still try to be brief so we don't go into overtime. But yeah, it's a more grassroots approach maybe to this. We're still a pretty small company, but of course we've been doing some things, and what I'm talking about today is more about to do with sales, marketing, and the data we use there. And of course, like hearing what Alex is doing with their places, I see there's a lot of other opportunities we could be doing next. But well, this is first a picture where we started. The company started in 2007, and this was our first paddling center. So we had a few kayaks and canoes over there, and it was, well, by the end of the summer, we managed to get the roof on the building, but it's still not too much. But well, since then, things have been going forward a little bit. So we've been growing, not so steadily, but still growing and taking some growing leaps at some points. So that's well, I'm sorry about the text are in Finnish, but it's the turnover and also our profit are shown here. And then on the pie chart, you can see what we do. So the biggest, where we start with the blue one is rentals. So we rent outdoor equipment. Then we also have accommodation. So we have cabins, we have a camping area, things like that. Then we operate a few cafes. We do some courses and tours. So it's mostly kayaking and other outdoor activities. Then we have corporate groups and other kind of groups. And also one thing which is growing a lot is that we have seasonal passes. So we have created a system where people pay a certain amount of money and they get free usage of kayaks and mountain bikes and stand-up paddle boards and things like that. And this is also done in a matter that you can do it by yourself. So it's fully automated. So there's no people working. So people can just book their kayak online and then go out and they get a code where they get inside to get the right type of equipment. And that's what we've been working a lot on the last couple of years. But as I said, we started in 2007. We bought a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van and 10 whitewater kayaks and thought that would be a really good way to start the business. Well, it turned out that whitewater kayaking was not a big hit in the large market, but it was something we enjoyed doing, and we still like to do that. But well, actually in 2008, then we started sea kayak rentals here in Helsinki by the seashore, and that we found out that would be much more volume, and we got that growing a lot faster than the whitewater kayaks. Well, now this year we have 9 different locations where we operate, a couple of national parks here in southern Finland, and then other locations where we have kayaks or mountain bikes and things like that. In the locations we also operate 2 cafes, and then we have about 30 different kind of spaces for rent, so cabins, also saunas. Well, we Finnish people like to go to the sauna, and so we have those to rent out too, and a lot of different kind of stuff. And at the moment we have about 180 kayaks, canoes, 50 stand-up paddle boards, 40 fat bikes, 20 rowing boats, 40 pairs of snowshoes. So quite a lot of products, which means that it's really hard to keep everything organized. If it would be just like a pen and paper or even like an Excel sheet, we gets pretty stuck if we don't do something else. And then at the moment we have over 300 products online. So all the products we sell are basically online products. So we've been doing that since 2010. We started selling kayak courses online. So we have quite a lot of experience in that. And we've been also developing the online sales since that. But we have one system which is called Johku. It's a Finnish company, Finnish system, and it's basically a sales system where we do all the online and offline sales. We do all our billing in the same system, and also it's the resource planning is done in the same system. And we've been using it since 2017. Well, the good thing that everything is in one system is that we have the data like in one place, so it makes it a bit easier. So basically all our sales data is in one place. But since we started, we have about 100,000 sales orders and about 1 million reservations, like since 2017 when we started using the system. So it's quite a lot of data. So quite a lot of things we could do with that. And on top of that, we have a real-time integration with our financial software. It's called NetVisor. It's also a Finnish software. So we get all the sales data straight into an accounting system, and it helps a lot. And of course, we can get a lot of reports out of Johku, out of the sales system, and also the accounting system. On top of that, the sales process is pretty automated, so it saves us a lot of time. So there are automated messages in the process, and as I said, for example, for the season pass holders, we have a system where they book a kayak and they get a code where they get inside to the warehouse to take the kayak and use it, and then they can return afterwards. So this whole process is automated, so it helps us a lot to save time. But it also means that we have information every time people make the reservation. We get information. We know when it happens, where it happens, what time the reservation, how much in advance the reservation is made, and all kind of things like that. And of course, we've been using that information to develop our business. But at the moment, it's still quite a lot of work because there's not too many things automated in the process. So we have to do a lot of manual work. So we still do use the Excel sheets, but not with the single reservations, but with the whole reservations for 1 month or 1 year. But of course, that's the foundation where we try to use the data to understand better what happens and how we can make things more efficient. Well, this is like an interesting tool we've been using for a couple of years. It's called Lens. It's also like a Finnish company, and we've been working together with the guys. So this is basically a tool where we put information from different sources into one spot, and we get an overview of things happening. So this is, for example, this big picture is about marketing. So we get an overview of our brand reach during a certain period. We get an overview of how many clicks we get to the web page on a certain moment, and all the likes and the shares and things like that. And the good thing with this is that now we also have the sales data. So we made an integration with our sales system. So we get the sales data in the same spot where we have the data from Google Analytics, Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google My Business, YouTube. So, well, it's basically the spot where when I can go look at the big picture, for example, a certain day, what's happened, what's happening in Facebook, what's happening with our sales at the same time, or how are the campaigns we're using on Google Ads, how are they affecting our sales and things like that. So this has been a really useful tool for us to know more, but also to make it more efficient, so we know what is working and where things don't work so well. But still, there's a lot of things that are uncertain that we don't know yet about. But it helps still a lot to have everything in one, or not everything, but a lot of things in one system. Well, our plans in the future is well, the first thing is, of course, we still make a lot of decisions by gut feeling. But since we've been doing online sales for almost 15 years, I think there's something to do with that. There is some data behind the decision still. So the gut feeling is based on some of the data. But of course, all the stuff we need to decide on, we don't have a certain data to monitor to see if it's a good thing or not. But I think this is something we can still think about and expand. But for example, we've been using this data a lot for pricing. So we've been experimenting with pricing, for example, with the rentals. During weekends, we have higher prices than during the weekdays, and then we see how it affects our sales and also opening hours, because we have a lot of information about when people use the kayaks. So we adjust our opening hours according to this data. But of course, we're still a small company, so we don't really have the resources to build our own system. So we are looking rather for tools that are ready in the market and then try to implement them in our business. And of course, the reason why we do this is that we think we can provide more value to our customers if we understand better what they do. And of course, that results also in good things. So, but it's the customer is in the core, of course, also here. But a lot of opportunities, a lot of things we could do more. And well, for example, comparing our data to the more general data sources would be really interesting if we had the tools for that. And even comparing our data to, for example, weather, because we do stuff outside. So it would be really interesting to see what the effect of weather, for example, is in this compared to our data. So I think there's a lot of things we could work on still. But yeah, thank you. That was my presentation.
Thank you, Ilkka. Is there any questions? Maybe you can use also chat if you would like to ask via chat about the Ilkka's presentation or other presentation today. Yes, from Veroniki, chat that very interesting presentation, and thank you. Great.
So, if I may, Marit, I actually have a question. Maybe the question goes actually to both of you, especially Alex and Ilkka, because I think for a business, it's always very interesting to know what's the return on a certain investment, no? And I mean, using data analytics, using different tools, there is always some sort of investment that you need to make. So the first part of my question kind of goes into the direction, what is actually needed to implement such sort of tools? Is that something that you could do with internal resources, let's say with the skills that you have available in your internal team, or was it necessary to contract external consultants or to even employ experts on data analytics, engineers, etc.? Maybe especially in the case of Alex, because this is a very technical way of analyzing data related to a very specific, let's say, topic, which is energy efficiency. So that my question goes a bit into that direction. What was needed to implement that sort of data analytics, and can you see on the other side a return on this investment made in terms of efficiency gains, optimization, etc.?
Hi, well, we started building all the systems internally and by ourselves and with our people, but as far as it gets more complicated, you need external help for sure. We haven't needed so far consultants as such, but we have experts in the field and in energy and in energy generation to be able to help us to understand the numbers and be able to cram them up and be able to get proper solutions or more efficient solutions, really. It is the return, when we talk about efficiency, it's difficult to measure and to be able to know. I would say that on our side, this time we've got a great reward, because we've got a lot of I would say of publicity, and a lot of we've got lots of prizes lately, this last season and the previous season, based on this and on our system of trying to involve clients to be able to make it more efficient. And that is a great return, really. You can't check it up in numbers or be able to sum up how much it means, but it helps and it gives you an image, and that's more or less priceless, I would say, to be able to be to have free publicity around the world, around Europe. It's not a clear answer, but I would say it's difficult. You need help for sure. Once things get complicated, you can start for sure. And there are lots, as Ilkka was saying, there are lots of tools in the market that help you, and every day appear new ones that make your life much easier and make things easier to you try. But there's a point where that we have huge amounts of information that if you don't know someone that helps you trying to cramp it up and summarize it and be able to get the values from it, it's very difficult.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe the same question to Ilkka. Did you start like on your own with your own skills, just looking up tools in the market, or how did you start the process?
Yes, mostly we have just invested our own time. So the systems we use, they're not that expensive. It's more that you need, of course, people to be doing the stuff and thinking about what we are doing and analyzing the data. But so far we've been doing it by ourselves mostly, and then using some of the tools. But well, probably in the future we do need to think if we need more expert experience in that. Well, and then I saw in the chat there was a question about sustainability. This is, of course, for us a really important thing. well, we do stuff outdoors. Being outside is our playground, to say. So sustainability in many ways is really important. And well, the data we're collecting, of course, one thing to think about sustainability is the economic side. If we can be efficient, if we do profit, we have the ability to be sustainable. If we're not making profit as a company, there is no way that we can be sustainable because we don't have the resources for that. So for us, using data and being more efficient and making more profit as a company allows us to think about sustainability. Of course, we have sustainability certificates, and we do have, we're in the Visit Finland Sustainable Travel Finland program, and we do a lot of stuff there. And we did also before the certificates. But the big thing is being in a good position to, like being able to be profitable allows us to be sustainable. And there was another question, maybe. Well, in our company, there are a few people who are dealing with the data. Of course, we have people like in certain levels. There are a lot of people using the data, but there are a few people who are responsible of all the analytics and things like that. So they do the studies of the data. But of course, in small scale, well, our employees can go to our sales system and they see what's selling and they know how many spots are available and see if they can sell more places there or they need to close something because it's not selling and things like that. But there are people who are also responsible for doing that.
Yeah, I would say like Ilkka is mentioning, everyone in the organization uses the data we generate in some way or another. But the people really working on analyzing it and finding new ways of optimizing, it's not that many. And I would say in our organization would be 2 or 3 really. And then when we have challenges or we have tried to find other ways, and we get expertise or external help to be able to rethink ways or tell us how they think they would do that or new options.
Okay, thank you all presenters today. Leonie, before the end of this session, can you share the slides? Today we have heard and get know about the possibilities and benefits of utilizing data analytics, and it's important in SMIs because they need the concrete examples to help in them in their approach in this, for example, data analytics. This webinar is recorded, and it will be available in our community, Tourbit community, and there is in that community there is also other benefits. For example, you can meet or share your ideas, things between the other people in tourism sector, and of course get information and about the latest research results and any kind of events that are arranged around the tourism. And this webinar is the first one of our deep dive webinar series, and there will be each Tuesday one topics to be focused, and the fall June to the middle of July there is very interesting topics discussed and presented in our webinar. So I can recommend that you will join Tourbit community and also look at what this community can give for you. From myself, I would like to thank all presenters and also audience to participate in our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great afternoon.